What's going on, everybody? It's your boy C-Zar, and we are talking about Turbo today. Hit that like button, subscribe if you want to see more content like this, my friends, and let's get into it. It is the 13th of July, and here we are, 7 hours and 19 minutes left in the day. Up 9% on the day, $0.0045 is the price right now. You're looking very constructive. You're turning the tide here, looking very, very constructive. We like a nice rounded bottom. That's nice to see. Very, very constructive. And if we're looking at this from the low, the relative low on April 7th to the relative high there at the middle of May 9th there, not really the middle, but the beginning of May, I suppose. We went just below the 382 down to the 0.5, found support there. Now you're pressing the 236. Once you get above the 236, you essentially validate this as a low. Anytime you validate a low, a discernible low like this, that does give you a cause for some serious increase in price in a short amount of time. So I would expect that, as exciting as today is, 9% up, it's nothing in comparison to what's coming over the coming days, over the coming weeks. And we can also see this not just through the means of the price, right? Getting above the 236 is a good thing. Closing above it, I should say. Not just getting above it, but closing above it is a good thing. Because you've gotten above it before. You want to close. You want to stay above the 236, right? Not only is that suggestive that we would see some increased growth over the coming days, coming weeks, but also the daily RSI shaping up to get into the overbought zone. You guys, when we get overbought, great things happen. Great things happen. I mean, let's just go real quick. Okay, we'll do like the last 5 times we've gotten overbought, and maybe not every single time is going to do this, but that was the first instance you got overbought there. Here you weren't overbought on this day, but you were that day. You did get overbought on that day. Got overbought on that day. You got overbought right on that day too. Okay, so the last 5 times that you've been overbought, or 4 times, is that 5? That's 5, right? Did you continue to grow? Yes. 1, 2, 3, and the days leading up to getting you overbought, look at how much you grew, right? You continued to grow there for 2 more days, and then you came down a little bit. Here, did you continue to grow? You continued to grow for 2 more days, and then consolidated and had a little bit of a top off. Then you came down, and you continued to grow, right? And this kind of reaction is actually more of what I'm expecting. Something like this where you'll grow, you'll see a nice bit of growth, and then something like this, you'll probably correct, you'll consolidate a little bit, right? And then you'll continue to rally, right? We'll get these more consistent overbought readings back to back. You got overbought here, you continue to grow for 4 or 5 days. And the amount, maybe I shouldn't even just say, are you growing? But let's actually quantify this. Let's see how much you did grow, right? So from the day you got overbought, the next day, let's go from the closing price of that to the high. You moved up 34% afterwards, okay? From the closing price here to the high, like a week later, you moved up 35%. Pretty damn similar, right? Coincidence? I think not. Here, a lot more, 89% in less than a week's time. Here on this day where you closed, right, to the high, that was you can't see it, that was a 64, is that 54, sorry, 54% growth, right? And then here, the last time, the most recent time you got overbought, in a very short amount of time, you moved up over 100%, but overall short, you have moved up even more than that. I'm just saying, guys, that you're not even overbought yet. And the smallest that we saw was 35%. So I could at least expect that you'd see a move that's above 35%. I wouldn't be surprised in the least if by the end of this next week, by the 20th of July, probably even before then, let's go with the 18th or earlier. Let's shave it down a little bit. 18th or earlier. Turbo is probably going to be above this high. You're going to be above 0069. You'll be all the way up at 007 or more. Probably. It's getting shaped up to do some good stuff, you guys. I wouldn't be surprised, honestly, if you went all the way up to something that, let's see, something like this. Looking at the price, at least 0078 to maybe 00 or 1.1 cent. Getting rid of the 00s, actually, something like that. Let's see if that lines up with any fibs here. High to low. Golden ratio, right there. I was using my eyeballs. I wasn't thinking that's where the 1618 would be. I'm just using my eyeballs looking at areas of significance in the price. Yeah, 1.1 cent to 8.2 cents, or sorry, $0082. Yeah, something like that. You're going to get an 80 to 140% pump over the next 5 days, I would expect. Not financial advice, not a financial advisor. That's just my call, okay? You're probably going to interact with what I like to call the primary target zone, the 1618 to the 1272 up here, okay? We're going to delete all these lines and clear it up a little bit, okay? Make it look prettier. But yeah, looking at this here from a high to a low. Come on now, let's go. That's pretty good stuff. Yeah, so, something in the what I like to call the primary target zone, the 1618 to the 1272. That's not the price. The 1272, that's these numbers over here. 1272, 1618, the Fibonacci extensions, right? Yeah, you're probably going to see that in a very short amount of time. Why? Because again, once you get overbought, we move up in a very short amount of time. It makes sense, right? It makes sense. It's a whole sensible thing. This technical analysis business doesn't mean that it's going to work out. Just because it makes sense doesn't mean it has to do that. But that's kind of what I'm calling for. It's the whole purpose of a prediction, I guess. Golden ratio 382. Next target area. Anytime you go from your golden ratio, you find support in your 382.5 area. The next target area assumed would be the 786 to 886 area. Okay. If we take a high to a low, look at how well that encapsulates the 1618 to 127. Look at how well that encapsulates this zone. It's perfect. Yeah. So that's where you're going to go. No higher than 1.1 cent, no lower, I would say, than 8.7 cents. You can probably nix the 1272. I think you will break. You'll be either just below a cent or just above a cent. Turbo very soon, within like 5 days or less. You're gonna do it. Absolutely, yeah. Unless you get some major reversal today, but I think that we have more growth to come, you guys. I think we really do. Looking at this on a 1 hour time frame here, the RSI is overbought, just freshly overbought, very bullish. You can come down a little bit, that's fine, but you look fantastic. 4 hour time frame here, bullish as hell, bouncing off the 40, bouncing off these areas that you've bounced before, and you're getting into the overbought zone. You're probably going to get overbought. Maybe not by the end of today, Sunday, the 13th, but tomorrow you should be overbought, so Monday might be a good day then. Man, looks like that Monday drop is not going to happen at all for Bitcoin, actually. I think we're just going to rip, guys. This week's just going to be up only, no dropping at all. Turbo looking great on the 4 hour time frame. Looking good on the daily time frame too, man. I don't really know if there's anything else that's worth talking about, man. Just upside, up, up, up. We can talk about where you're going to go when it comes to new all-time highs, right? If we look at this as a bull flag, which I feel like on a weekly time frame, it seems more obvious that this is a bull flag. That should take you all the way up to 1.4 cents. That's at your all-time high area. So you're going to see I mean, if anything, I guess I should say this. If you don't stop at 0.009 to 0.011, if you don't stop in that area, it's only because you've gone higher. It's only because you're moving up higher than anticipated. And I doubt that you'd stop any lower. I think that you'd only stop higher, not lower. But once you break out to new all-time highs, high to low here, you should see prices that are at like 2.7 cents, maybe upwards to, could you go all the way up to 15 cents? Let's see. Hold on. What do you got going on here? What kind of growth are we talking about? Why won't it stick? There we go, stick. I would think, yes, I like 2.7 cents is a good minimum. I think 6.2 cents is a good maximum. I think you do go to 15 cents in time, but just not between now and the end of August. At least that's not in my wheelhouse of expectations. My nose is so itchy today. I don't know what it is, man. Is it my mustache? No, it's not tickling my nose. They're not like furled up or anything like that. Anyways, that was weird. 13x maximum, 6x minimum from the current price, and you're up 12% this week already. Is it a good time to buy? I think so. Not financial advice, not a financial advisor. I think it's a good time to buy. Even though it's up, is it the most ideal time to buy? No, that was down here. But we're not down there. We're here. So for what it's worth, yeah, I think it's fine. If you're waiting on it to go lower first, it's probably going to go down a little bit, and it's going to go up a lot of bit. So I don't think it's worth waiting, but to each their own. None of this is financial advice anyways. Do your own thing. Hit the like button, subscribe. Thank you all for being here. If you thought it was cool when the daily RSIs got overbought, wait until the weekly RSI gets overbought, right? That's whenever we see the real spectacular growth. That's when, I mean, let's just look at this real quick before we end the video. Overbought here. You got overbought on this week. You were just below it this week. Man, I guess this isn't a good example because you got in and then you got out. So, but the week you got overbought, you moved up 251%. Okay, is that good enough? And really, from the low to the high of that week, you moved up an overall 500% in that week. Okay, that you got overbought. This week here that you got overbought, same thing. From a low to a high, you moved up 360%. You understand? You got overbought here. This time we actually have it good. So right here, from the low of the week you got overbought to the high where you topped off, that was a 10x 3 weeks later, right? So stupendous growth is coming your way. You get overbought in the daily, this thing's going to get overbought. Once this thing gets overbought, you've got hundreds of percentages to go, right? Hundreds of percentages. And it's going to be a good time. So buckle up. The coming 6 weeks should be exciting. Hit the like button, subscribe. Thank you all for being here. I'll see you on the next one. Take care. Bye-bye.